Imagine you are on a flight. The flight attendant asks you, would you like something sweet or savory? You prefer savory at that point, and you possibly get some peanuts. How many? A packet? Maybe you want some more, 2 packets, maybe 3. What if you end up buying 48 packets of peanuts on board the flight? Well, that is exactly what a UK woman actually did. I know that sounds like a lot, but as they say, desperate times call for desperate measures. As per the woman, she bought every single packet of peanuts on the flight. But why did she do that? Why did she buy 48 packets of peanuts? As per this report, the woman has a severe nut allergy, and she has claimed that she had no choice but to buy all those packets of peanuts because the cabin crew, as per the report, ignored her request to not serve them. Basically, she did not want anyone opening a packet of peanuts while she was inside the aircraft. And according to this report, the woman has said that she has asked the staff on the Eurowings flight to announce her allergy to passengers and request that they don't buy or eat peanuts. She claims her concerns were dismissed by the crew, and so she ended up buying all the packets of peanuts. You know how much she spent? 144 euros. That, by the way, is almost thrice the airfare price that she shelled out, almost 3 times. And the woman now wants a refund. This report in The Independent carries a statement by a Eurowings spokesperson, according to which the woman was not forced to buy all packages of peanuts on board. The statement says the purser tried to offer her an alternative solution by informing all passengers sitting around her about the allergy, and that she agreed at first, but then decided to still buy all the packages, as per the statement. And the airline says it is unable to guarantee that the aircraft is free of foodstuffs that may trigger an allergic reaction, such as peanuts, because passengers are allowed to bring their own food on board. And the report also mentions that the spokesperson said the medically trained cabin crew always have access to medication to provide emergency medical care in the event of an intolerance or allergic shock on board. The thing is, when it comes to allergies, the policies of airlines on allergies vary a lot. And this latest incident has once again brought that issue back in the spotlight. Can Wagner save Niger's dictator general? Yes, I am talking about the Russian mercenary group, the one that fought in Ukraine, won Bakhmut for Russia, also led a mutiny against the Russian establishment. That mutiny failed, but there is a chance it can seal a victory for Niger's dictator general, Abdurrahman Tijani. This man, he declared himself the head of state on the 28th of July, less than 10 days after Niger's elected president was captured by the military there. This man, Mohamed Bazoum. Ever since, things have only gone from bad to worse. Niger has been cut off from the regional bloc. Nigeria has cut off electricity supply to Niger. The people there are suffering, and there are talks of a possible military intervention. This, let me remind you, is a country where 4.3 million people already need humanitarian assistance. The dictator general is relentless in his pursuit of absolute power. What is the way forward in the face of growing international pressure? The military does not appear to know. It is banking on Wagner to turn things around. But can it? Now, there are some things you should know first. For example, what led to the coup? Niger, by the way, has seen 4 military coups since its independence. In the year 2021, when Bazoum was elected president, there was a coup attempt just 48 hours before his inauguration. And 2 years later, the military successfully managed to overturn the longest democratic rule in the former French colony. Many came out on the roads cheering, celebrating the coup, one that was blamed on rising insecurity. Let's just pull out a map for you. This is where Niger is located, at the heart of the Sahel region. an area where terror groups like the ISIS, the Al-Qaeda are rapidly expanding. In the pretext of fighting terror, several countries have sent troops to Niger in the last few years. France, for that matter, has around 1,500 troops in Niger. The US, over 1,000 troops across 2 bases. Italy has around 300 troops. The European Union has at least 100 troops in Niger. And yet, together, these troops have somehow failed to check extremism and terrorism. Attacks on Niger's villages have become the new normal, as they have across the rest of the Sahel region. Today, the military is justifying the coup by citing 3 things primarily. 1, like I mentioned, insecurity. 2, the lack of economic growth. And number 3, what the junta has referred to as the quote-unquote gradual and inevitable demise of the country, courtesy foreign troops and terrorism. Those cheering the coup, by the way, were heard chanting, "Wagner, Wagner." This was thousands of miles away from Russia or the front lines of the Ukraine war. What role could the Wagner possibly have in Africa, you wonder? Now, those who watch this show regularly already know the answer. The Wagner mercenary group has been a household name in the Sahel region for a while now. It won't be wrong to call Wagner the face of Russia's ambitions in the global south. Wagner, after all, provides security in Mali, even Burkina Faso. It is working closely with the government forces, occasionally trading its military support for lucrative contracts, especially in the diamond mining industry. And today, Wagner not just has private troops in the Sahel region, but also contractors and shell companies. And very interestingly, although expectedly, Wagner's popularity in the region has been inversely proportional to the growing anti-Western sentiment in Africa. In Mali, Wagner began its operation in the year 2021. Today, the group works closely with the ruling military junta. It reportedly charges $10 million every month for its service. People in Niger see Wagner's presence in Mali pretty positively. But do they want to replicate a similar junta Wagner engagement in Niger as well? The junta clearly does not mind. A night before Tchani declared himself as the head of Niger, Prigozhin stuck his neck out. On the 27th of July, the Wagner chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin, bragged on Telegram, 1,000 Wagner fighters are able to restore order and destroy terrorists, preventing them from harming the civilian population. Yes, the man has re-emerged, unscathed from the failed mutiny, proud as ever, and now vowing to bring peace to Niger. On the 2nd of August, one of Niger's military generals reportedly visited Mali. This general, Salifo Modi, held meetings with the Wagner-allied junta, and soon speculation grew of the possibility of a Wagner entry into Niger. And on the 5th of August, reports said during that visit to Mali, Niger's generals had actually asked Wagner for help. On the 7th, a Wagner-affiliated Telegram channel, in fact, said some 1,500 Wagner troops had been dispatched to Africa. Where to exactly is the immediate question. The group did not specify that. And then Prigozhin uploaded a message on Telegram. I'm quoting from it. "We are always on the side of the good, on the side of justice, and on the side of those who fight for their sovereignty and for the rights of their people." In other words, we are with the military junta of Niger. Whether or not we are already physically present in the country is none of your business. The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is hell-bent on telling the world that the Wagner is not a force for good and that it is actually taking advantage of the situation in Niger. I'm quoting, "I think what happened and what continues to happen in Niger was not instigated by Russia or by Wagner, but they tried to take advantage of it." This is what Blinken told a British media network. adding, I'm quoting, "Every single place that this Wagner group has gone, death, destruction, and exploitation have followed." Now that's pretty rich coming from the US. Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, it's a long, long list and a story for another day. Anyway, this is where things stand as of now in Niger. The ECOWAS, or the Economic Community of West Africa States, had given a deadline for the junta to stand down and also restore the president, Bazoum. That deadline, by the way, expired on the 6th of August. Niger has now closed its airspace. Will ECOWAS intervene? And if yes, in what way? That decision will be taken at a meeting tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Wagner group seems to be the junta's best bet. The group has proven itself on the front lines of Ukraine. Militarily, Wagner will be able to guarantee power to the junta. It will also be the vehicle for Niger's junta to work even more closely with their counterparts in Mali, Burkina Faso, Russia. Via Wagner will also be happy to play the role of a protectorate. But here's the thing. Niger is not a Mali or a Burkina Faso. Western countries have spent millions on Niger's security. In Mali, when the Wagner troops marched in, the French military had to pack and leave. In Niger, the change of guard will not be so smooth. Wagner's entry can make Niger a flashpoint between the West and the Wagner. Many in Niger, in fact, are bracing for a fight. The military is looking to dig its heels deeper, and the people, well, does much really change for them? They have been suffering for long now. They have been colonized and oppressed by one force after another. First, it was the French, then the junta, and now it could be the Wagner group that becomes a global force at the cost of their suffering. Now, I have a question to ask. Would you buy an airline whose pilots have fake licenses? An airline that has a history of not paying its employees their salaries? I am assuming most of you would answer with a no. Too bad, the airline in question does not think so. An airline which is known for gross mismanagement and poor services. I'm talking about the Pakistan International Airlines, or PIA, the flag carrier of Pakistan. It will soon be up for sale. Islamabad plans to privatize it. Why is that? Well, because it's not making money. The PIA, in fact, is sinking into a sea of losses. It has accumulated hundreds of billions of rupees in losses and arrears. If we try to quantify it, its overall tax debt amounts to over 400 billion rupees, or $1.4 billion. 1.4 billion. That's a huge number. One that Pakistan cannot afford. You see, its coffers are drained. So what does it plan to do? It plans to privatize the PIA. The green signal was given after a meeting of the Economic Coordination Committee of the Cabinet, which was chaired by Pakistan's Finance Minister, Ishaq Dar. And this is what a statement by Pakistan's Finance Ministry had to say about this. Let me quote. The committee, after deliberation, decided to include Pakistan International Airlines Company Limited in the list of active privatization projects of the ongoing privatization program, following an amendment in the law by the Parliament. Now, all said and done, the question is, who is even going to buy the PIA? Just 3 years back, it was involved in a fake pilot scandal. Fake pilot scandal. The airline had hired fake pilots without a valid license. The revelation was made by the International Civil Aviation Organization. This is a specialized agency of the United Nations that works to ensure safety in international air transport. It said that the Pakistan Civil Aviation Authority had failed to meet international norms, especially the ones related to personnel licensing, processing, and training. And this revelation, by the way, came just 2 months after Pakistan's Civil Aviation Minister had disclosed that over 262 Pakistani pilots held fake credentials. And out of this, 141 pilots belonged to the PIA. Now, for the unversed, Pakistan has a total of 860 active pilots. Out of this, 262 pilots did not give the examinations required to become a pilot. Instead, they asked someone else to sit on their behalf. That's around 30% of the overall strength of pilots. And what did Pakistan do to address this? You'll be shocked to hear this. It cleared 110 pilots out of the 141 accused of possessing fake licenses. Can you imagine that? Forget banning these pilots for life. Pakistan hired them back, notwithstanding the many crashes this airline has been involved in. In fact, in May 2020, a PIA plane crashed in Karachi, killing 97 people. It was an Airbus A320 aircraft. It had around 91 passengers and a crew of 8 people. It crashed into Karachi's Jinnah Garden area. Minutes before landing, only 2 passengers miraculously survived that crash. And in December 2016, a PIA flight 661 crashed in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Havelian district. The crash killed all 47 people on board. What caused the crash? A report released in 2020 said, technical faults. We wonder whose fault it was talking about. And these are not standalone incidents, by the way. Till date, this airline has lost more than 30 aircraft in crashes and other events. Who on earth could possibly buy such an airline? Who in their right mind would be brave enough to take that risk? Not international buyers for sure. It would be safe to presume that someone from Pakistan itself might get forced to do the bidding. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.